This once grand city, now completely enveloped by the attackers, will be burnt to the ground unless the defenders can stand firm and repel them. Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is JackieFish and welcome back to another online battle for Total War Rome 2. Today we are taking a look at a kind of a cool tournament battle. I don't really take a look at too many of these. I would love to take a look at more of them in the future, especially siege battles I think are really cool. But yeah, today we have a 3 vs 3 tournament battle, so all the players are going to be very, very high quality. They're going to be bringing kind of competitive army lists, which we don't really, again, see that often on the channel. Obviously, the players want to win, but, you know, a lot of the time they bring kind of more fun units that, which make more of a interesting battle. Whereas this time it's going to be all about that W, all about that win. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how this does play out. And I'm also looking forward to seeing how all these players, any cool high-level strategies that maybe I don't know about, we could see being, taken out in this battle. So for the attacking forces, as this is a 3 vs 3, we have a force from the boy, and they're going to be pushing up these right-hand side siege towers and also these tortoises, which actually do smash down the walls and create breaches. Definitely something you always want to bring in a competitive match if you're sieging. These guys are obviously going to be having mainly sword fellows. I doubt we'll see too much variety in these battle lists just because, it's a tournament, these players want to win, and they're going to generally take the better units rather than maybe bringing like auxiliaries or something along them lines. So they have a handful of these sword fellows. They've also both brought, along with the Galatians, melee generals as well, realizing that the cavalry is probably not going to be that useful. Having a very high tier general is always going to be good. So for the boy, we have the Oathsworn, and then for the Galatians we have a unit of Galatian nobles, which are spears right here. And you can see them looking very, very good. So for the rest of the Galatian force, we just have a lot of Galatian noblemen supported by some cheap Celtic bowmen. We also have Syrian mercenary archers, which are going to be very deadly. But again, no cavalry that we can see of right now. Maybe they have some hidden somewhere, which I just can't quite see because we can see the defenders more than the attackers. Then for the other force over here, so the last attacking player, we have an army from the forces of Carthage. Right here, we have some mercenary Galatian warriors helping out to fill out the mercenary army of Carthage. Even more Galatian warriors. A lot of these mercenary noble fighters. Not really bringing many Libyans or anything along them lines. Mainly just a lot of mercenaries, but obviously that is Carthage's roster. We do finally have some late Libyan hoplites, so not a bad unit to push through a breach with and repel the attackers. Again, looking pretty nice with their colourful shields. Pushing up their artillery and their siege towers, we have a unit. Oh my god, we've actually already got an attack up here, so let's pause this really quickly. We have Libyans up on the wall, and then we also have a few other units of mercenaries being thrown forward, and we'll see the rest of their units in the battle. Then for the defenders, we have a force from Numidia. They're going to be bringing a lot of these desert legionaries to the battlefield. They're just a really good high tier unit that obviously fight like the Romans, but aren't as good as the Romans, but are still really, really decent. I think they also throw Pila as well, so it's a deadly ass unit. We've also got some Numidian light infantry, a fast unit that can get around the battlefield. We have the Lusitani supporting them in this battle. And again, we've seen the power of the Iberian factions. They can do a lot of damage with their lighter kind of shock infantry. They can get around the battlefield very quickly and effectively. The main defense is going to be over here, which is going to have the third player in the defense, and that is Pontus. So we have some Pontic spearmen and swordsmen at the gate itself. Again, a lot of Galatia and Pontus kind of share a similar roster, whereas Pontus is maybe a little bit more Greek and the Galatians are a little bit more barbarian. They kind of switch around in them aspects. They're going to have a lot of these Pontic swordsmen, which are going to be able to get stuck in. A lot of these men as well are going to be over on this right hand side with some Furios spearmen, obviously the pinnacle of the Greek roster right here. Very, very deadly indeed. And then obviously we have some more veteran shield warriors and other sword infantry. Let's just get this battle kicked off then. I didn't really want to pause it, but we can dive in now and watch the siege equipment being pushed up. Obviously, making some big breaches in the walls is going to be very, very important. And I think we're going to see the Galatians and the boy kind of hold up their siege towers. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. They're keeping the siege towers back, basically. At least the main assault back until they make more breaches so they can kind of attack more in one go. And I think they're deciding to throw up one siege tower to actually go ahead and take these towers, stop these towers from shooting their men, because they do rack up a lot of kills. And you can see as well the exact same thing I think is happening over on this side. Basically just silencing any artillery they find up here, killing this artillery, but waiting for the rest of these battering rams to make their ways to the wall, which I think is a very, very smart move, and already we're starting to see that competitive edge come into play. Maybe not, though. I take that back. They are looking to commit as, oh, that's probably in retaliation to the Pontic men pushing their soldiers onto the wall. They realise now that there's going to be a fight for the wall, they kind of just have to push forward. Beforehand, if the walls were going to go completely undefended, I think their plan was just to, you know, take these down with like one unit, kill the artillery pieces, take this tower and stuff like that, and then obviously use it against them. However, that is not going to be the case, and the infantry are being pushed up. If you guys do like these battles as well, if you like seeing these tournament, more competitive matches, let me know in the comments down below, and obviously by dropping a like on the video, it really, really helps out. As the siege tower preps up to go down. I think some of the walls have also been destroyed right there. As I'm sure the players have plenty more replays. And obviously also a massive shout out to everyone who played in this battle. And a big shout out to the people who sent me in this battle. I think it was William who sent this one in to me. So I really appreciate it. And again, keep any replays you have coming my way, as I would love to do more Rome 2, as you guys seem to be really enjoying it at the moment. And it is a lot of fun, especially like a competitive match like this. We have the siege ladders and the towers making their way to the front of the siege wall, and now the infantry are going to be fighting the sword fellows against the Pontic swordsmen. But quite a nice position right here. We have a lot of missiles coming down from the attackers, but we also have some javelins being thrown up. And that might be a little bit of a waste, honestly. I don't think these javelins can quite, get as many. Actually, they've got a pretty good volley here, but a lot of them are missing. Yeah, a lot of them javelins. Okay, that was a big waste right there, using up the Pontic swords missiles, unfortunately. It maybe would have been a lot more effective if they were like here, or maybe they could have just waited for them to come down the ladder as well. That maybe would have been a bit better. There's a lot of siege towers coming up, though. I really like as well the defenses set up here by the defenders. They've made it so that, when the breaches do occur, which is probably going to be here, they kind of assumed it. They put a lot of spikes and other slow traps, so this could be a very good killing zone for their archers. The boys, though, are not giving up any time. They're already making their way down into the bottom layer of the defense. They are going full force right now, full force, and they're trying to put a lot of pressure on the defenders to keep them kind of busy. But I guess because as well they're going to have this coming down very soon, the Galatians will be able to throw forward a ton of their men into the battle. And there we go, another destruction of the wall, actually trapping this unit of Pontic swordsmen. This unit cannot get down now. It is stuck up here to the end of time. There is no way for them to get down, so that's a good way of taking out one unit. They're afraid of their last couple of javelins, but honestly not going to be too much of an issue. We do have some Eastern archers set up here from Pontus, though. They're going to be hammering away this defensive position. It doesn't really matter if they kill too many friendlies, because they don't mind too much. They just want to try and kill as many of these soldiers as possible. Over on the Carthaginian side, we are now seeing the other siege tower and the rest of these tortoises pushed forward to destroy more of the walls and make their way in. But as you can see, this is pretty much not a great position for them to really attack. There's a lot of hard ground to be made, and honestly, I don't really think the Carthage are going to commit maybe too much here. I think for the most part, Carthage is just a decoy force in a sense. They're over here to basically keep soldiers here, and whilst the Galatians and the boy, who are much better attacking factions, really break through their opponents. And there you go, you can see these guys are stuck. They have no way of escaping whatsoever. We now have a fight up on the walls again as the Lusitani get their swords bloodied for the first time up against the Galatian Legionaries. These aren't Galatian Legionaries, actually. These are just normal Galatian swords. Yes, yes, yes. Taking some javelin fire again, but I think it's just, they're kind of wasting a decent amount of their missiles. Or at least a couple volleys, which can do so much damage. It seems like the walls are now cleared out, and even under heavy missile fire, we have 3 units of Eastern archers now hammering this unit of sword fellows. They're doing a pretty decent job of pushing forward and actually somehow taking the gatehouse. Sometimes the gatehouses in Rome 2 and just, all Total War games just seem to not really make sense, because, look, the gatehouse is being lost, but the attackers only have 1 unit here, whereas the defenders have 3, if you include this unit on the walls. This doesn't really make much sense at all. We have some skirmishing happening out here, some javelins going out. Oh my god, that's kind of a minor waste right there. They threw their entire volley of javelins at 1 unit coming out of that breach, which is kind of unfortunate. We also have these guys who have just been getting pounded by the towers right now, but I guess they have to shoot at something, and it's going to take a while to take these towers. And as I say that, somehow this gatehouse has now been neutralized, so it will no longer be shooting. Luckily, though, they do start to take it back, so it should start shooting again pretty soon. But very much a back and forth. We have some fighting down on the ground now as the Galatians and the boy try and breach the defenses here. And obviously, they do want to commit these men, as they have plenty of reserves they can commit at any time. So the sooner they start wearing these guys down, the better. They even have some archer fire coming in overhead as well, which is going to be a huge bonus to their military power. You know, just whittling these guys down is great because, as always, I say this in every single battle, you don't need to win every single breach to get victory as the defenders. You just have to win one or two, and then that has a huge snowball effect. However, the defense have set up in a very, very great way that makes it extremely hard for the attackers to achieve that. Because they've set up in these kind of big lines of blocks, it's very hard for them to, you know, break through a single area. However, it is definitely possible for them to do so. You know, if they break through this, it's going to draw, you know, the defenders away from this section, which is going to obviously affect them in turn. What is the Pontic General as well looking like? This unit of Pontic Swordsmen. Still pretty cool. Unfortunately, this isn't divided Temperum. They don't get Sparabara. Sparabara are one of the coolest units in DEI. It's just like a kind of a really cheap hybrid spear and bow unit with a shield. They are deadly. If you're playing as like Pontus in the early game, you just make an entire army of them and it's GG. But as you can see, Carthage are struggling in this assault. Fighting Desert Legionaries, it was never going to be easy. Like, trust me, Desert Legionaries are scary. And I think, oh my god, I've been saying how scary Desert Legionaries are. But taking 3 volleys from them Cretan archers was a suicide. Oh my god, that was insane how quickly they went down. Yeah, that was brutal, and they charged them as well with the rest of the hoplites, which really proved to be a lot of damage. There's also a unit up on the walls now, but that unit is getting hammered by the slings from Numidia. A lot of these tribal slingers looking to take the side-on shot and pick them down. So yeah, some really nice play from both players right now. You can definitely tell that this is a tournament game, and you know, with it is being a 3 vs 3 as well, it adds a lot to the battle, I think, as well. As you can see, Carthage throwing in more men now. But yeah, the damage these Cretan archers put out on that Desert Legionary was disgusting. They killed like 20 soldiers in one volley. And I guess that's one of the strengths of really bringing your archers in a little bit later into the battle, when the unit has already been engaged, making that initial HP damage. So the next couple of volleys do a lot of damage when that does happen, because you know, whenever you're shooting a fresh unit, they kind of absorb it, and they've kind of got like an armor save almost, like a shield like around them. And then once that shield goes down, like a force field, then they take a lot more damage. It's kind of like a cumulative. The more you shoot at it, the more damage they're going to take. So bringing them in a little bit longer when a sword infantry has kind of already whipped that down is always very effective. And you saw that on that Desert Legionary. Shot in the side, they lost like 20 men. So let's take a look at the overall battlefield and see what's going on across the fighting. So as you can see, the main assault by the Galatians and the boy is going to be from this section, and that is causing rifts in the defenses. The Iberian swordsmen are having to shift their position over to accommodate this big old push by the attackers. And that's going to kind of give them an opportunity to maybe break through this section of the defenses if they want to. They still have plenty of reserves, plenty of these swordsmen, Galatian legionaries, obviously waiting to be committed. They've committed a couple units of them, but not too many. And this is going to be the main killing power. You can see them using their javelins first before diving in, and then getting stuck in. And as I said, like, this is where the Galatian legionaries are going to shine. Unfortunately, they are being hammered by some really nice veteran shield warriors into the side of their position, which is very deadly. However, this is going to be amazing for them if Glacier can finish up the rest of these veteran shield warriors. If they can come down this flank, they can completely envelop this defense and, yeah, punish the attackers. And this is exactly what I'm saying. You just need 1 or 2 kind of open areas which you can break through, and you can completely dominate these positions very, very effectively. However, you know, the veteran shield warriors set up in the way they did because they wanted to hammer this side, and that's why you've kind of got this L-shaped formation, is so that javelins can come in the side and hit this unit right here. Again, a pretty nice, you know, tactic right there. Unfortunately, though, these Galatian swords are not strong enough to break them, with the missile fire coming in from the Balearic Slingers, are one of the best missile units in the game. And yeah, the defenders are making the attackers pay for every single inch here. They really are not giving up one bit, and the amount of missiles coming in is just extremely punishing. Now, obviously, I assume these tournaments had rules with like the max missiles and cav you could bring to these battles. So you can definitely expect that, you know, that's going to come into play. But there's just a lot of javelins, and that's why bringing these kind of cheaper units is not always an awful idea because of that javelin throw. You know, that's why you see Apollo bring an entire army of club levies and it do really well. It's because they have like 300 javelins they can just lob at the enemy per unit. It's disgusting. And it really comes into play later on in the battle. How are Carthage faring right now? It seems like Numidia have taken back the walls now. And Carthage are coming in, however, they are taking a handful of Peeler throws from these Desert Legionaries. And it seems like the Numidians are going to repel them once again. Carthage are pushing in here again a little bit better. But yeah, again, this Numidian javelin throw is just devastating. You really can just do so much damage with it. But once you've weathered the couple shots, it's pretty good. And a lot of the Cretan archers are coming in down here. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Testudo or something. And that's not bad. That's not bad. We are seeing some Libyan infantry abusing the gap right there, coming through and engaging. This Libyan infantry is one of the best sword units Carthage has to offer. So it's definitely going to be able to repel, you know, at least go toe-to-toe with the legionaries for a bit. Also, I don't really know why we're lagging all of a sudden. It's not like we've got a ton of units here. Maybe we'll just slow-mo for a minute or two. Yeah, I mean, we play a lot bigger battles, so I'm surprised to see it kind of get a bit jumpy. But this is quite an old replay, so maybe that's got something to do. It's got a bit too much dust on the shelf that it's, yeah, a bit scratched up. I need to get some toothpaste and rub it into the disc or something. So we got a unit of Numidian light infantry, and immediately this unit is focused by all the Cretan archers. Unfortunately, the Cretan archers are hitting a lot of their own friendly units. The arc probably isn't going to be too beneficial for them. But yeah, these archers are going to be, you know, a godsend. And we also have a unit of these Libyan pelters as well, which would be very useful. It's just they don't want to commit any men to the walls. And I mean, look at that. There's a lot of Numidians here. Do Carthage have any infantry left? They have a handful of infantry, but I just don't think they're breaking through this. But again, their goal wasn't to break through this. I think Carthage in this tournament setup was always a defensive faction that slowly pushes forward and just kind of survives. You know, puts pressure on, make sure you keep all these missiles here, make sure you keep some reserve Pontic swords here. But you mainly dive in and you try and allow the more aggressive factions, the barbarians, the tribal factions, to be the ones hitting through and doing the damage. And maybe that's exactly how the defenders are playing this as well. Maybe it's the defenders' idea that, again, they have the Pontics, which come with the more heavier spears, and they have the Iberians, which are more of the shock infantry. They kind of take on these guys, and then you have the kind of more defensive Roman legionaries, or I guess Desert Legionaries, over on the other side withstanding that. You know, both players probably, you know, coming into play for both of the big players, or both of the teams and the clans, for sure. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't seem like they're making too much progress right now. They really need this breach point to go down. If they can take out the defenses on this wall, I think it opens up this entire section. Because right now, these units of Galatian Legionaries are just taking absolute smashing from all the javelins coming in. Yeah, it's really dropping down their numbers. But if they can just get themselves down this tower, and they can completely envelop this force. We do have some more Galatian Legionaries being brought up to the fight. I imagine they will probably try and throw their javelins before getting in. A couple of javelins going off. They're not really utilising that too much at the moment. It wouldn't have been a bad idea to maybe just kind of stationary the unit here and let it throw its javelins at the back units maybe. But I'm not sure if Vanilla Rome 2, if you can actually dedicate the target you want to shoot at. I know in Divided Tempera you choose who you shoot at, but I think in Rome 2 they just kind of shoot at whatever's closest. And we are now getting reinforcements. A big push here by the Iberians, making their way into the settlement and them defenses. And yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that defense is not going well is because of that, you know, this Balearic Slinger volley into the side of them, killing so many of them per volley. If we take a look at the kills, you can see they're up to 140 already, which is a lot. However, the Pontic units are starting to break, and there you go. This has opened up a pretty nice position, and the Pontic forces are having to commit some Eastern archers to this, so the Galatians could quite easily break this defense for sure. And they are also making some pretty good progress over here. You know, as the heavier infantry does get stuck in, they're making some good, they're breaking through the enemy defenses. And even though they do have, you know, a handful of Furious Spears left, maybe a few Iberian Swords, it's not a ton. And they're also coming from the Gatehouse as well, with a unit of Oathsworn as well. So here we go. The heavy units, the heavy hitters are now being committed. And I think surprisingly, we'll see the defenders lose a lot of men now. Some javelins coming in though, and that's going to be deadly, taking out a handful of the Oathsworn. But yeah, I think they're going to make a lot of progress. That's actually a really nice position as well by the Iberian Swordsmen here. Right into their flank, but not quite committed. Because I could quite easily see, I mean, Desert Legionaries have been brought up, but I could quite easily see this place like breaking, and then the defenders not really being able to get over here. However, a unit of Armenian, oh my god, this is so good. Armored Numidian riders are now pushing out of the settlement, and we're actually going to sally out to go for the archers. This is going to be deadly. I think this is going to maybe be like an ending for the defenders unless they can kind of repel this. I mean, it's very risky, right? The defenders didn't need to do this. They didn't need to commit men outside of the walls. Because, you know, at the moment that they're holding pretty, you know, finely. However, by doing this, you know, if the defenders can, I mean, the attackers can kind of punish this, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're shooting a lot of missiles at these guys. And if their infantry can catch them off guard, this could be really bad for them. I mean, look at that. This unit is already down to 66, and it is getting quite low. This sort of unit is going to hit them. The archers finding their mark on a lot of these guys. That was a really kind of risky move. I love it that they did that and they went for it. It was a shame that they couldn't pull it off, but I really like kind of the plan right there. But they definitely lost a handful of men there, you know. They definitely lost, you know, like 50, 60 men, which maybe they didn't necessarily need to lose. And they're probably going to lose a handful more as well of these other units who are kind of still scattered around trying to set themselves up. It's nice to see though the defenders did quickly react to it, and that's kind of what we expect to see. How are we doing over here now? The Cretan archers are racking up a lot of kills, and Carthage have now committed basically everything they have, and they are slowly grinding down the Numidians, you know. They do have a lot of these other, you know, the Numidian infantry really showing their quality. The mercenary noble fighters coming in, a great unit, and I think this constant volleys from the Cretan archers is just racking up the kills and making units weaker, which is obviously going to be very effective. Because like I said earlier, every volley on a unit does more and more damage, like they kill more every single volley, and that obviously will apply if a unit of sword infantry is fighting them and they've kind of got that magical force field, that HP taken away from them, they're going to be killing them a lot quicker, so that this kind of combined arm attack is very effective. And they are whittling down the numbers here quite nicely, and actually breaking through over on this side. They can probably use their numbers to pull through the flanks. You know, this unit isn't covering the entire section, so if they were to send one unit to engage them, they could probably get them around and envelop this unit. So the Carthaginians definitely have a pretty good job of maybe breaking through this, as long as they have ammunition left on their units. They also do have this unit of Peltis as well. I imagine they'll be able to get stuck in as well and do a lot of damage. It might be a good idea to bring them up on the walls at some point. Oh, we do have the Numidians, though, coming down for a nice little flank on the noble fighters. But I think this is just a unit of Desert Vigiles, which are basically like Town Watch, so they're not going to be no match for the Desert Fighters, and the Desert Fighters will be able to send them packing quite quickly. But yeah, Carthage is putting a lot of pressure on the Numidians, and honestly, we could see this completely crumble. You know, there's only, what, like 4, 5, 6 units of infantry out here? Carthage, I writ Carthage off, but look at that, a huge break might happen. And this is going to be catastrophic. The Furious Spears, oh, these are just pikemen. The pikemen are turning up. I'm hoping that there's missiles left of them. It just repels them back. In the nick of time, the Pontic forces turn up. And I think they save the Numidians because obviously the Carthaginians don't want to dive onto these pikes. It might not be enough though. They might still go down, and look at that. Yeah, they are breaking. I mean, obviously, it's going to be almost impossible to break through this, but I guess that's exactly what the Libyan Peltis are for. Man, I love this. This is really high-quality gameplay. Both sides are utilizing everything they have. I think all the missiles will be trying to, you know, focus down either a clump of infantry or onto this unit right here. We are seeing the infantry getting stuck in against the Desert Legionaries. However, they are holding pretty effectively. All the javelins are going off now, taking down these guys as quickly as possible. Because the thing is, they don't need to kill both of these units of pikemen. They just need to take down one. And look at that, the javelins are coming in, racking up a lot of kills. It just really comes down to how much ammunition they do have. A lot of this infantry who maybe haven't thrown in all their javelins as well coming out. And Carthage, man, Carthage could be the one to win this battle. How are we doing over on this side? The Galatians have now broken down this ladder and it's forced the Iberians back, so the Lusitani are going to fall back. But they have plenty of infantry to now commit back into this battle. The Galatians and the Boy are still pushing up over on this side. Their heavier legionaries are now committed. I mean, yeah, this battle is pretty goddamn close. There's not really a lot of infantry. The generals have both had to come up for the Boy and the Galatians to probably have to be committed fairly soon.
Get out!
Which is very, very dangerous. And there's just like a lot of missiles left who have maybe run out of ammunition. It does seem like the Pontic forces were kind of combined arms right here. We have Lusitani, Numidians, and also Pontus managing to repel the Galatian charge, but we're probably going to see these sword infantrymen get committed for one final push, or maybe they're going to kind of go for a little bit more patience. And I think that's exactly it. I think the Galatian noblemen are going to come and aid in this assault right here, just reinforce them, as it seems like they've got a very nice setup right here, and they are breaking the defenders here. A lot of missiles, a lot of these veteran shield warriors just have no men left, and there you go. That's going to be huge. That's going to not only free up men they could send over to this section if they wanted to, it's also going to obviously hurt the morale of all the Lusitani. And there you go, look at that. The pikemen have been killed. Oh wow, they completely overrun the pikemen. And now we've got sword infantry in the back just chasing down these missiles, throwing javelins as they try and flee. The outer walls have been lost, fall back to the inner city. And look at them just flee for their lives. Oh man, that's awesome. And they're going to realize there's no, it's kind of pointless chasing them. They're going to turn around and clean up this. And Carthage are in the city now. They are in here and they are scary. The rest of the Pontic forces, one of the pikemen actually decided to fall back there. These Peltists just doing amazing work. 116 kills, and all of them kills were on pikes, so pretty impressive stuff. Nullifying these towers is probably an important thing. But yeah, I think we're seeing a fallback now. I think the defenders are like, what do we do here? Do we stay here and get enveloped by the oncoming threat that is Carthage? Because now Carthage's main goal is obviously to one deal with this unit of Numidians, but it's obviously also to charge in and meet up with the other two attacking forces. I thought that Carthage was the delay force, but maybe the other two were the decoys. And we're going to see the morale dropping in Rome too. If you envelop a unit and you're doing damage to it, it's going to end up breaking pretty quickly. Some of the high tier units can withstand an envelopment for a decent amount of time, but once you envelop it, you start doing a lot of damage, and that really kind of racks up the morale debuffs. And exactly that, they are pushing forward, and right now, balance of power, I would say, is actually still pretty even. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the balance of power bar. I would say it's still pretty goddamn even. And again, I love that this is a tournament play, because you can really tell they're obviously all communicating, they're all talking about tactics as they play, and they've kind of come to the conclusion that, okay, it doesn't look like you guys have really broken through that much. You've kind of been repelled here by the Furious Spearmen, who have done an amazing job there for both defenders. You're breaking through in kind of this section slowly, but not really. It's probably a good idea for us to kind of, form up into one big blob maybe, and then for these guys to go for the city center outside this awesome looking town, and then you guys to keep the defenders at bay, because again, they don't have to win by killing everyone, they just have to take the city center. And I think that might be what Carthage is deciding to do. They could just definitely decide just to go in. There's not really a lot here, right? There's hardly anything here. Some tribal slingers who are out of ammunition, a general unit, and a unit of pikemen. They could quite easily just decide to go for the city center and try and win by time. And the thing is, they don't necessarily want to win by time. They could just try and force the defenders back, which would then allow a lot more of these other guys to put up a pretty nice pursuit. But I'm saying that at the gate, this unit of sword fellows is doing an amazing job. They are killing a handful of these defenders. And luckily with that gate going down, they're not taking any damage from the burning oil as well. Which can just be so goddamn brutal. Burning oil can get thousands of kills if you're not careful. And yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing the retreat come back. I mean, I guess we're not really deciding to fully commit there. There's a small engagement right here. The Desert Legionaries come back, but met and probably killed pretty quickly. Yeah, we're seeing a retreat. We're seeing a fallback right now into the inner city to kind of try and close their distance, because they don't want to get enveloped. They can quite easily get hit, because the defenders don't really have a lot of infantry left, but they still have missiles and stuff that can give that morale debuff so that the Carthaginian infantry can do a good job. So now's the question, what does Carthage try and do? Does Carthage try and cut off the retreat? Or do they look to go ahead and try and just hit these guys as they retreat? Which I think is probably the better idea, you know. Try and pick off a unit of swords, try and pick off a unit of missiles as they try and fall back. Maybe get this Carthaginian cavalry into the back of these guys right here. And just kind of clear them off that little bit more effectively. We've got a unit of Galatian nobles here as well. Probably going to have to defend this. Like, yeah, these 3 units of Furious Spearmen don't really have anywhere to go if the Carthaginians can turn up in time. And you can see the cavalry going in. This is pretty risky because Carthage is like the one faction that has the most men left. So they're kind of almost suiciding their general. Unless they can get out of this and they calculate it, which they can do. But it's very risky, right? Because Carthage is kind of the card that will win the battle. So losing the general is pretty dangerous. But they're going to go right in the back of... And this is kind of what I was thinking was going to happen. They were going to pull through the cavalry and just charge into the back of these Pontic swordsmen. And that's going to be a massive hit to morale. We're going to see that morale drop very quickly, I think. Even with it being a general unit. Actually not, but I guess the general unit holding firm right there. And the Carthaginian general is going to pull back a little bit, but he's kind of stuck right now. Trying to fall back, but luckily, you know, infantry is now arriving. And now the rest of the Carthaginians are turning up. They're looking to take this capture point right here. This capture point doesn't make them win the battle, but it does give them a morale bonus and takes away a morale bonus from the defenders. So by taking these, you kind of really, you know, handicap the defenders. Doesn't seem like they're going to commit, though. I think these units should be standing on it, but maybe they're just not. But yeah, this is dangerous. This is really dangerous for the defenders because they're opening up themselves to get enveloped. Like, they're committing to this fight right here. However, the Carthaginians are going to come flying down there. They've got some of these peltists charging them down and they're catching them off guard, disrupting their formation. Like, as they fall back, you can see that these guys are going to either have to turn around or they're going to get stuck in, and you know, it opens up gaps. You know, more infantry can come in and hit them in this gap right here. They can really start to punish the defenders. And look at that as well. The Pontic swordsman from the Pontus general is very low, very low indeed. Only down to 57 men. Maybe they managed to kill him and we just haven't seen yet. We've also got Carthaginian swordsmen breaking through the spikes with their Libyan infantry. And they're only going up against Iberian swords as well. The same quality to this point is really going to be a huge advantage. But as you can see, Van's power is still so even. Neither side has really got the advantage right now. Battle could go either way. Oh, and I love seeing this. We're getting some Balearic Slingers using these defenses as a position. We've got some sandbags up here. Is this World War II? Is this going to be an MG42 position? Would be not a bad MG42 position, right? You'd be able to fire off a lot of shots down there. But if these guys still have ammunition left, they have a perfect view of the defenders down there. And they can really hammer away these Libyan infantrymen. Unfortunately, by the Pontic sword spears, they must have lost their general because they are dropping like flies and morale is low there. Fatigue is low. And they just don't have much left in them, I don't think. Which is really bad because it can open up the rest of the Pontic army to being hit. We do have the Numidian general who went all the way around here. Looking to come in and maybe try and achieve something, which he can definitely do. But we do have a unit of the Galatian noblemen back here that can blockade them. We also have the boy general as well. So pretty dangerous stuff. However, the Carthaginians have now done a very nice job here of breaking this defense. And they can quickly come up here and storm the Balearic Slingers, get them out of this building. And bring them down. Again, the Balearic Slingers won't stand a chance against the Libyan infantry. You got the Carthaginian general coming up maybe for a rally. It actually seems like they want to fall back a little bit and not overcommit to this. Maybe they want to just funnel all their troops through this gap right here and try and break through. Because just again, there's a lot of missiles for the defenders. But as you can see, it's not like the attackers really have a ton of infantry left. Like Carthage has the infantry, and then the other two factions, the Galatians and the boy, only have like 1 or 2 swords left each. So it's not like they have a ton. We do also have this general coming around that could rout so many of these missiles. So many of these missiles. They might actually kill themselves on a few of their spears, but it's an all or nothing move. Actually, the spears are destroyed, I think. Maybe not, though. We'll have to see. This is an all or nothing move, though, because they could mass rout a large amount of the defenders. Are they going to lose a lot of men to their own spikes? No, then. Oh, they do actually lose a horse or two. But that's a massive charge right there. If they can mass rout all of these archers, that's going to turn the tide of the battle in favor of the defenders for sure. A really nice charge, man. Look at that. They're just continually going. Going to break 2 units of archers right there. Maybe even a third. Maybe even a fourth. This is definitely we are not done yet. This is them fighting for their survival in the tournament. And look at that cavalry charge. Breaking 3, maybe 4 units of missiles. Maybe even all the missiles. And you may think that doesn't really mean much. The missiles don't have ammunition left. So what's the point? But these are men. These are soldiers that can act as like a bastion in the last moments of defense. Like, these archers can, you know, just shore up a defense and slow down and in combination help their infantry. So losing like 600 men like that is catastrophic for them. And this Numidian cavalry unit coming in clutch, 250 kills. You know, that could have literally been the turning point right there of this battle. Literally could have been, you know, what wins them this engagement right there. They might still not have enough to defend, but yeah, they might still. One of the nice things though for the attackers, they still have these pretty healthy generals, and as the generals mainly are just going up against you know, missiles now, it's not too bad. But we do actually have a fresh unit of Pontic pikes, which can be pretty big. This could be very useful at repelling the general units and just shoring up this position. We also have the Lusitani general committed to this fight as well. Yeah, these pikes are going to be very useful. Yeah, really, really deadly. And we might even see the generals fall back from them pikes. Carthage have now finally managed to take the upper defenses of that building, and they're making very good progress in the streets. However, this is what I'm saying, you know, these Eastern archers are basically useless, but they're good for shoring up the defense. They're good for just tiring out and throwing at the enemy. And that's why losing them 4 units of missiles was just so goddamn huge. And the Numidian general was just absolutely amazing right there. Luckily, though, they did keep a lot of missiles left, both. So the mercenary Syrian archers are now just going to be shooting down on the defenders. Yeah, unleashing volley after volley, bombard after bombard. So very nice stuff there. You can see them getting a lot of kills onto the defenders. So yeah, that's gonna be really useful at killing these pikes. The defenders are going to be putting these pikes out of this battle, and it seems like they've kind of caught the Lusitani general a little bit overcommitted right there. But the boy general is down to 50 men, the Oathsworn down to 50. The Galatian general is very strong, but he's basically spears. The Numidian general is still just following around looking for any kills, and we do have the Carthaginians coming around, and I think that might just prove a little bit too much for the Carthaginians now. I think they've enveloped the defenders. They're also taking the city center now because the defenders just can't get back, and I think that's going to be the battle right there. I think either way, the attackers win this engagement now. The Carthage came in clutch there. I honestly felt like they were going to be held in place there. You can see the massacre that was beheld here. But I think Carthage breaking through against the Numidians was just huge. It really, really was. And the utilization of them pikes, peltists against the pikes, was a great move to hold them off until that point. You know, you could have been very, very tempted to use them a lot earlier. But even though we are seeing the Carthaginians pile towards the city center now, it seems like it's going to be GG, no matter what really happens at this point. Because I don't think they're going to be able to fight their way through the Carthaginians to get back to the city center, as the general is now just about to take it. So now the defenders, I think, have about 4 minutes to get back to the city center, or I guess 3 minutes to get back to the city center to take this before it is over. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I think it's like either 2 to 3 minutes. And that's kind of cool as well. The Carthaginians, I don't think cavalry can capture these points, so they dismounted their general to take it, which is a nice move. Oh, we do have a Numidian general coming back though, so maybe he's going to be able to stop the countdown. And buy them some time. I don't think they have enough infantry to really do that, but you know, it's mainly just missiles, which I think will just die to the obviously the general's bodyguard, the Oathsworn and stuff. But they have some men back here that could definitely come out. Some pikemen up against the rest of the sword fellows. Some Iberian swords which are scattered around. But yeah, obviously not falling back to this position has come back to hurt them. So actually they're probably going to be able to take the city centre back. That's going to stop the timer from going down, which is pretty good. Yeah, they're actually going to be able to take this, take the capture point, which is great for them. They do have some more Carthaginians coming, but they'll stop the timer, which will buy them a little bit of time, and maybe they can do something over in this position right here. I doubt that they will be able to achieve it, but it's good to at least give it a go, right? Trying to see the last remnants of the archers being thrown in. But these aren't even like, you know, high tier archers. These are just tribal slingers, so they're kind of like the worst of the worst. Their morale will slowly break. You know, they're just not meant for melee combat. However, there's a lot of Carthaginians over here, which are kind of close. The Pontic swords are doing a decent job here at repelling them. I guess it's the exhausted Libyan infantry just can't really swing their swords as strong as they would want to. Some cool kill animations in there. Some more missiles. Oh, actually, there's some Balearic slingers. Still have some ammunition left as well, which is actually huge. How's the city centre looking? So they did manage to take this, or at least neutralise the city centre to stop that timer, and then charge in against the Carthaginian general. So as great as this Numidian general was, I think his time is numbered, and that the heavier Sacred Band cavalry will push him back now. Be enough just to take down the last couple of his men, and then yeah, advance forward and claim the victory once and for all. So that was an amazing battle. I think the attackers have this. I mean, I say that maybe like this could actually go either way, because it seems like the defenders are actually enveloping them and about to. I was literally about to say it's over. But I mean, that's going to be a big break if all these units go, and that's exactly what is happening. The Iberians are not done. Oh my god, is this a comeback? Don't call it a comeback. If the Numidian general, I mean, they've taken the city centre. Okay, maybe not. I got a little bit too hyped. I think. I don't know. There's barely 50 seconds left, and the defenders are breaking. The Carthaginian forces are going to go down once this unit comes flying in. But maybe this is not enough time. They'll win on time limit. Because I think the counter starts off from where it left off. Because it didn't get recaptured. Unless there's like a big mass rout. No, the Pontic forces are breaking, and that's going to be the battle. I think we might just see it. But I mean, my god, that would have been an insane ending if they managed to mass rout them. That would have been absolutely crazy. I think the time is going to take it, but look at that. Look how close this battle was. There was really only a handful of units left. And this poor unit of Pontic dudes is getting shot by the arrow towers. Slowly going down. I mean, what a bloody battlefield it was. And an insane match as well. Carthage taking it by taking the city centre. A costly battle indeed. That was insane. So yeah, big shout out to all the guys who played in this battle. You guys did a great job. That was very, very exciting to watch. If you take a look at some of the kills, Titus Pullo playing as the Messalesli, which are basically the Numidians. Getting some decent kills on these Desert Legionaries, 160 kills. You can see that he racked up 1,900 kills, lost 2,700. The Lusitani, I think, getting the most kills out of these guys. And yeah, look at that. Carthage getting 2,900 kills, going hard in this battle. Really, really just diving in. You guys can see the other kills if you want to. The Carthaginian Cretan archers, 200 kills a pop. Very impressive indeed. You can see the boys right there. The General, the Oathsworn, 360 kills. 366 kills on these sword fellows as well. And then finally, the Galatians looking pretty good with their kills. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this tournament match. If you did, drop a like and a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.